My earliest memories playing with my toys at the age of 3. I remember taking a break, staring at my hands, flipping them so that my palms were facing my eyesight, and thinking, wow, I'm a thing in a place at a time. What does it all mean? Well, sure, many of you can relate to this. It was as if a massive surge of electricity washed over my young brain, and boom! That instant, everything changed for me from then on out. It wasn't just a fleeting moment, but a profound shift that stayed with me, colored every experience that came afterwards. Fast forward about 2 weeks after this event, and I'm staring at my bedroom curtains. I can remember this. I had 2 sets. One set of curtains with planets and galaxies, and another set with some human-made construct. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was little houses or buildings or some stupid shit like that. But that's not important. What is important is that at this moment, I felt paranoia for the first time in my entire life. I thought to myself, I do not belong here. This is not my home. I want to escape whatever this is. I don't really think that this is the place for me. That realization was both unsettling and strangely clarifying a little bit. A feeling that many of you might have had in moments of doubt or existential crisis. Maybe it was that mommy and daddy didn't really love me enough as a newborn. They didn't show me enough care. Maybe it was the fact that, well, I had died and was pronounced dead at birth for about a minute. Or the second time that I died in my crib, which was at like 1 or 2 years old. I don't remember. My parents told me at one point, but that's besides the point. It could have been any number of these things, but whatever the cause, the paranoia was the spark that lit the fire of my lifelong search for meaning. Free will doesn't really exist in my book. You are an amalgamation of many different living organisms in a glass half full mindset. They all work in tandem to keep you and each other alive, but in a glass half empty space, they're in it for themselves, honestly, and some of them don't even really like each other. It's really a chaotic symphony of self-interest that somehow keeps the machine running, if you know what I mean. That being said, my personal thoughts on the matter are as such. You do not really have free will. You're more of a computer, a robot programmed to do what you do because of a multitude of external factors. This includes, but is not limited to, personalities you acquire through years of interactions with other humans and animals, your brushes with death, and your basic need to stay alive, eat, sleep, shit, drink, and so on and so forth. You might think yourself, well, I'm unique. You might think, well, your choices are yours alone, but every action you take is a result of countless variables outside of your control. Facts are facts, and unless you can scientifically prove to me that there is a soul, you will forever be to me a computer programmed to resist the inevitable fall into increased entropy. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Some people live long, full lives, and some people don't. Some people deal with stress 24/7 and live to be 110, while others live carefree lives and die at 25. The world is very indifferent to you because randomness is an inherent trait of the universe. It's not personal. It's just physics, buddy. It's quite hilarious when you sit down and you really think about how fickle the universe can be. The sheer unpredictability of it all is very strange, and you can derive some dark humor from it. The same universe that creates black holes and supernovae also allows a lottery winner to be struck by lightning twice. Just think about that. We have all had it. The call of the void, as some people call it. I think it's the result of the brain's endless search for a cure to its inevitable fate. That moment when you stand on the edge of a cliff staring down and a small little voice in the back of your head says, jump. You know? But it's not an appropriate way to think. I think. The absurdity of those words is a perfect representation of the paradoxes we live with. But how can I think if I don't have free will? Well, I don't even know. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Maybe the question itself is the answer. Our brains are designed to question everything, even in their own existence. Ah, yes, the mind-body connection. As you navigate your way through this godforsaken plane of existence, let me remind you that you are, as I stated before, a group of many cells working in tandem to keep you, a collection, and themselves, soul identities, formed of also collections of atomic particles, away from entropy and her bitchy little hands. As your brain experiences brushes with death in its many possible forms, including but not limited to starvation, being ostracized from your community, dehydration, or a slow bowel disease that leaves you dying on the toilet, it may start to come to conclusions that don't really match up with certain provable laws. The mind doesn't always follow the rules, and that's where things kind of get interesting. Repeatability is in fact science's forte, but your brain, it's essentially the same as those generative AI models you see all over the place. It takes many images, stimuli, and experiences and forms a proto-system of information. It uses that proto-system to navigate its way through the shitstorm that we call the universe. This process, while flawed, is also what makes us human. Now, the question we've all been waiting for, or not, who really cares? Well, yes, I do, but not in a biblical sense, Buddhist or Hindu sense, honestly. It's more in my own sense. Now, there might be a name for it, but I don't really know it. I believe that God himself is the universe. Now, let me explain. That might sound a little crazy, it might sound a little Christian, but it's not in that sense. So, all that exists resides in this universe oh so perfectly. The most important tool any thinker can have is scale, in my opinion. It's a lens through which we can see everything's interconnectedness. When we look at scale, we open our eyes to a world beyond a world. Quarks that form protons that work side by side with neutrons that form atoms. Those go on to form compounds that form organisms that form humans that form thoughts. Scale is everything. It's a staircase with no end, absolutely no end. My personal opinion is to take this all in and say, why not make God the explanation for all of this? But whoa! Modern religions like Christianity are the result of many men coming to the same conclusion that I've come to, and deciding to share their thoughts. There's a problem with that, though. There are certain kings and rulers, and they took over all the printing presses and said, no, I want it in this way so that we may control the populace. These leaders thought their opinions mattered more than the glass half full analogies of the universe because they were afraid of death, afraid of losing control of everything they had. I believe that they rewrote these books out of severe narcissistic personality disorders. It's true. I think that they did. On the other hand, I love people. Surprisingly, I love things. I love the universe, and the universe is awesome. I love it so much that I'm not really afraid of death. I'm more afraid of the unknown, as everybody else is, but the possibility that I will stay aware in some other form, such as my atoms becoming part of a worm or a butterfly, keeps me sane. There's no need to fear death. I will become one with God, even though I already am part of God, who is the universe. The end.